Welcome back to This Week. Time now to get the views of our media and political experts. Democratic State Representative from Nashville, Brenda Gilmore, and heard daily on 1510 WLAC syndicated talk show host Steve Gill. Welcome. Nice to see you both again.
Thank you.
Almost 10 years after the 9/11 terror attacks, the U.S. military takes out Osama bin Laden, and if we needed it, Al-Qaeda today confirmed his death, so I guess it's official, he is dead. Reaction, I guess, first off.
You know, I got to say, first of all, that, you know, the folks are saying, I'm not sure it happened, I'm not sure he did it. There may be a lot of things people will dissemble and misrepresent in politics, but you don't lie about saying the Navy SEALs got somebody. You don't mess around with that. And there is no doubt in my mind that he's dead, he's gone, and let's move on past that. I think the question is, what happens next? A lot of people are joyous and celebrating, and celebrating his death is okay, but this is not the end of the war on terror. We have had Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in custody for 7 years. We haven't brought him to justice. He was the operational mastermind of this. We've got 200 and something plus guys just like him in Guantanamo Bay, and there are thousands more like him out in the world. This is not over.
And someone will replace him.
I think there was a good time for America, that it didn't matter whether you were Democrat or Republican, you felt good that we set out to get this person, that we got him, and that it can bring some closure to the many, many families that have suffered for the past 10 years. I think all Americans felt good about themselves and about America.
If you know much about the military, it's not unusual that circumstances, how these missions unfolded, change. The story of how this happened has changed dramatically. Are we a little bit surprised by that? Are you not surprised by that? Because obviously we didn't know the true details until those SEALs were debriefed.
I'm actually shocked at how it's been mishandled from the public relations standpoint after the military event was so flawless. Somebody the other day wrote that after the killing of Osama bin Laden, we got 72 versions instead of 72 virgins. And what's happened is that people who should have been in the know, we're talking about the CIA director, we're talking about the head of national security, we're saying this is what happened. They should have known what happened when they were out there saying it, and they have changed every aspect of the story since, which I think hurts the credibility of the administration. The military action was flawless. The post-military action has been horrendous.
And I think that anytime it's something this major, people are so anxious to get the story out that the story will change some. But the most important thing to me was that I believed from the very first time that I heard it that he's dead. And that was what I focused on. Although the details may change slightly, the fact that he's dead was what was impressive to me.
The president decided midweek this week not to release the photographs of the corpse of Osama bin Laden. Good decision, bad decision. As you said, some folks are probably never going to believe this. On the other hand, the president said these are graphic. We don't kind of spike the ball, as it were, and it could incite other terror attacks.
Unfortunately, he then went right to ground zero to spike the ball, so I'm not sure that that's a real honest representation of what happened. The bottom line is these photos are going to come out. The 2,000 photos at Abu Ghraib were being held because they would incite, they might cause harm to our military men and women. This administration released them because a Freedom of Information Act request went through the courts, and they had to release them because the worry that it might cause harm to our military personnel was not a legitimate reason to keep it hidden. That's going to be the same argument here. It will not pass legal muster. Eventually these photos will come out. So I think they'd be better to put them out now. Say, look, they're going to be released. Go ahead and get them out now. It's kind of like pulling off a Band-Aid. Do it quick, get it over, and let's move on. This is all going to be resurrected in another 6 months or a year when the photos get released.
Probably right. Freedom of Information, eventually that they will come out. Probably.
I think the president made absolutely the best decision. There was really no point for us to see the gory pictures, and I'm not sure what it would prove. Even if he shows the pictures, I'm sure there's going to be some who's still not going to believe that he's dead. So I think he made absolutely the best decision.
Any doubt that this was a kill mission? Does it matter? Would it have been more of a circus had they taken him alive and tried to try him?
There's no question. I mean, their own CIA director, national security folks are saying basically they went in to kill him. And frankly, I don't think most Americans have a problem with that.
No.
If we had tried him, it would have been a disaster. Now, there are some that argue that we would have gleaned some information from him, and they've got his hard drives, they've got his thumb drives. There would have been something we might have gotten from him to piece together other actions if we had taken him and squeezed him for information. But under the policies of this administration, they weren't going to squeeze him anyway, so we were better off to just put him down.
I was impressed by the fact that the way everything unfolded, they got in there so quickly, they were actually able to kill him, to get all the evidence, and to get out of there safely and with as few people as possible being killed. So I thought they did a very good job. It would have been pointless to try to bring him back and try him. I don't think America wanted that. That's not what we set out to do, and so killing was the only, I think, alternative.
I think the question, though, is what do we do next? We've got Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who's been held for 7 years. They were in the midst of beginning a military tribunal.
Helped glean information leading to this.
Right. But why haven't we brought him to justice? Why haven't we executed executed him. We've got 200 other guys just like him at Guantanamo Bay. If we can send somebody in to kill somebody that's done this, why are we holding the rest of them? And we've prosecuted Navy SEALs for giving these terrorists a busted lip when taking them down, and then we come in and shoot an unarmed man. We need to have a policy that says we're not going to prosecute SEALs for doing their job in the field if we're then going to laud them for heroism when they kill a guy like Osama.
That was the one thing that I thought was really ironic, the fact that so many Americans wanted this man dead, and then when our service people killed him, then Americans are saying, why did we treat him like that? And I think we have to recognize that this is somebody who is horrible. It wasn't somebody that was a Boy Scout, somebody that, we thought we could change and he would eventually be a good man. This was somebody who killed thousands and thousands of innocent people. So I saw no other alternative.
Brave men and women of the 101st took part in this operation, both in Pakistan and beyond. The Night Stalkers, the 160th, actually flew the helicopters to the compound where bin Laden was taken down. As we're taping this, President Obama is preparing to meet with Ford Campbell and the 160th and meet with them personally. That's a nice gesture on his part to talk to these brave young men and women who risked their lives as they flew into this mission.
Yeah, we're never going to know who the Navy SEALs were in that mission. They're going to be protected. But the helicopter pilot who took that helicopter down and they were able to complete their mission when it was literally crashing, he needs every medal we have to give him, if not just for him, but for all those that they can identify. That's the amazing part of this mission. And by the way, the Pakistanis are apparently cobbling together the wreckage and trying to sell it to the Chinese. We give them $3 billion a year. We shouldn't give them one dime till our helicopter is returned completely intact.
Well, I admire the president. Just as he went to Ground Zero yesterday, I think symbolically it sends a message to those servicemen that we care about them, that we care about their families. So I'm glad he's there today.
There was one downside. That was it. Apparently this was a super secret stealth helicopter that was destroyed, but from what I'm hearing from military sources, they're not happy it wasn't destroyed enough. Too many pieces were found and some of the super secret materials are found, and whether it really damages the credibility of that aircraft, we don't know yet, but that was the one little error that did happen. It just didn't blow up enough.
And the fact that they're trying to sell it to our economic and perhaps at some point military enemies, again, we give them $3 billion a year, not one dime, till they return every shred, go back to the little kids that were picking up pieces, get us every piece of our helicopter, or don't expect another dime.
Well, I think even questions need to be asked as how was Osama bin Laden able to stay in this place for 10 years unnoticed, and he's so close to the Pakistan's police service department. It's just, I think all Americans are asking that question.
About a half a minute to go. Where does this move as far as the U.S. military's operation in Afghanistan? The war on terror not over with. Does this in any way change what's going on over there? Does it make it quicker to get troops out of there?
It'll increase the call to move them out immediately, but as I pointed out earlier, this is not over. The terrorist attacks will continue. Somebody else will take his place.
I think it sent a message to the whole world that Americans are strong, and it may take a while for them to actually accomplish their goals, but that they are consistent in whatever they set out to do, that they will do that we are a world power that cannot be reckoned with.
Brenda Gilmore, Steve Gill, appreciate your time and your insight. Stay with us. This Week continues in a moment.